After a hard-fought win on Garden of Terror, ladies and gentlemen, the EU Stormgrounds #2, powered by Hitbox and sponsored by SteelSeries, is going to be moving into its second match here on Tomb of the Spider Queen with Virtus.Pro and Bob. I'm Forgo Jester. With me is once again Mr. Tempo Storm Zoya, and getting into the draft, Sir Jaina, as a first ban from Bob. This is the first time we haven't seen Kael'thas on the chop block.
Man, it's EU does not run the blow up lockdown styles anymore. Very few teams right now prioritize Tyrande at all. We don't see Tyrael anymore, just like for these blow up compositions. So the way that Virtus.Pro played Jaina there was so smart for the current meta. And oh god, that was beautifully played. I'm really glad Bob recognizes that. Like, we either have to change the meta right now and just like play differently, or we ban out Jaina.
Well, banning out Jaina definitely seems to be the way they want to go. But Jaina's out, Zagar is out, first pick into Leoric, and then, of course, Johanna on the flip side. Nazeebo actually showing a little bit of strength here as that early pick from Virtus.Pro. Remember, it is Tomb of the Spider Queens, a little bit of a smaller battleground, but with that Nazeebo pickup and Zagara out, I mean, those are the two kind of big specialists that we see in these drafts.
Well, man, the early Nazeebo pick on this to me, it's like I get confused sometimes because, like, if you want Nazeebo like a late game type style, it would be like a Garden of Terror pick, right? You'd want to lock him in there early on, because that game goes for longer. But on an aggressive map like this one, going for the Nazeebo, it's a bit interesting. But I do want that pushing power, like you said. Zagara was taken out. They need to be able to shove lanes. Nazeebo's great at that. Joanna, just prioritized so heavily in the EU. One of the best warriors in the game. But we do see Bob goes for that Kael'thas to counteract the 16 power spike from Nazeebo. They got their own for them. And then that Uther as well. So really good, three really solid picks coming out from Bob.
The first pick style of prioritize a warrior, a support, and a damage has kind of really stuck throughout this tournament here in the Stormgrounds. But Uther, Kael'thas, Leoric, with that first pick, it is going to be threatening a double warrior composition. Now we got Kael on the back of this. I mean, in NA meta, you would have probably seen a Kael on the flip side there on Virtus.Pro instead of that Nazeebo being prioritized. But at this point, I mean, it's kind of, the range damage mages are kind of out. Zagar is out. Nazeebo's already there, but that's going to probably lead us, what, into a Vala for maybe a last pick Bob or last pick Virtus?
Yeah, Vala is still on the table. Definitely need to see that picked up as the damages are low right now. Still have Zeratul up, but there goes banned out by Bob. Not going to be dealing with any VP shenanigans. Yeah, I definitely expect double warrior here from Bob, just to protect the KT style composition. Make sure you keep him alive, and then post 16 you win the fight. Virtus.Pro don't think they need to lock in their support here unless they're trying to show a weird damage last. We did just see them run them Illidan Abathur. That's on the table for them as well. So we could see that.
Right, Zeratul has actually prompted the second round ban. That's twice I think we've seen that in all the games since Monday here on the Stormgrounds. But it's mind-boggling that the different regions have such different priorities. But I mean, either way, with the Anubarak out, Johanna, could this be Virtus.Pro Johanna Mirrodin or Johanna Tyrael right here?
I think they should want to deny the Mirrodin from Bob. But the Tyrael also has its benefits with the shields. It's a hard engage. I think I prefer Mirrodin here, though.
We've seen it before.
I really like the Mirrodin mixed in with but from the both the Naya and the pickup.
Nope. It's going to be an Arthas, sir. Not exactly. Now, I was considering, perhaps it will be an Arthas, but typically you're going to want that space control to counter out a melee or to counter out the Zagara, like the Tumors. These guys don't really seem to like running Tassadar, but at the same time, you can clean up a lot of creep. But Zagara's banned out, and Zeratul's banned out, so the Arthas for the zone control is going to be aimed at the double warriors.
Okay. Let's see what Bob wants to lock in. They still have the option of Illidan Abathur themselves. You got two squishies like Vala, Jit, and Nazeebo, where we saw last game that Vala Zagara, Zagara technically is better at living through stuff than Nazeebo because he has the mod to disengage. We got ran over by Illidan Abathur, but personally not a fan of that on this map. We saw the double tank option to keeping Kael'thas alive. So you could see that Muradin, and then I don't know who your next damage would be. Tychus, Tassadar. I think I would like Muradin, Tassadar here a lot from Bob.
There could be something to be said for switching up gears. Now that they see that it's Arthas and Johanna, we could actually opt to only keep the single tank Leoric with the Uther, with that Divine Shield. I mean, there's so much sustain that Leoric can do for himself, but on the back of a shield as well, could extend his life fairly significantly. Bob could actually go into double ranged assassin here because they're going to need, well, they're not going to need, but we have seen a favor towards giant killer classes like like the Falstad, like the Vala. Tychus, as he said, could come into this very well as well. So we could actually see Bob change up gears, but they're not. They are just going to go for the Muradin.
Muradin, okay. Tastar would be great. It's just great wave clear, great sustain. You keep your front line super shielded. You keep Kel'Thas shielded if he gets dove on. This all screams keep Kel'Thas alive. Let him land flame strikes at 16. That's all I'm feeling right now from this comp.
We just don't see Tassadar in these EU metas.
That's true. EU really doesn't value Tassadar at all right now. Even during the promote era, Tassadar was not very highly sought after. It will be Tyrande. Okay, so going for the Miranda, getting that early game aggression, and I actually like that a lot. Denies it from, I guess they want to go VP Tyrande.
Well, as I said, you need that favor for kind of like shredding down an opponent, and who better than Tyrande at this point? As well, I think I want to say it's Snitch. There is a Muradin player that we've seen that at level 16 takes Give Him the Axe, which is basically the Executioner style for Muradin going forward. Leoric, as a bruiser, does a ton of damage as is. Muradin as well could easily spec at 13 for the Thunderstrike, 16 for Give Him the Axe, and then from there you just combo. There's a lot of Executioner usefulness on both sides. Arthas to keep up the perma slow for Vala. Muradin just applies his own CC in that regard. Like, there's a lot of shred I can see that could happen from both sides, since both of them are running the double warriors.
Well, let me get into the lobby real quick. I think I have to give it to Bob on this one. It's just they have early game aggression. Like they have a lot of synergy with this composition. And when I look at Virtus.Pro, I don't see synergy. Right, like none of this. There's no well-known combos of that. And Bob, you've got the Miranda combo, Muradin Tyrande aggression, super powerful throughout the entire game. Hunter's Marks allows. It doesn't matter who is with Muradin Tyrande. Any hero in the game can be with that, and there's enough damage to secure a kill in the early game. You have the Kel'Thas late game with the support from the double warrior. You have the Kel'Thas late game with the support from Uther. The Divine Shield's going to be able to keep him alive if he gets caught out of position against the Arthas. The only thing I could see Virtus.Pro winning at is they have a lot of good AoE damage that Uther can't really heal through as well as other healers, but even then, it's only Nazeebo Vala. So I love Bob's draft this game.
Well, we gave it to Virtus.Pro on draft last round. This time, you're going to give it over to Bob. Right now, we are down 1-0 in this best-of-5 series. Virtus.Pro currently leading, but Tomb of the Spider Queen, man, such a confrontational battleground. We are going to have to see who gets the better of it. Tyrande getting through the bans, Leoric getting through the bans, and Kel'Thas getting through the bans. We're going to have to see if that is actually going to be kind of a bit more of a core strength here for Bob going forward, because they need to put a point on the board where they're going to be looking at a 2-0 and possible match point in Battleground number 3.
Yep, it's definitely scary. It's just a best of 5, and if VP goes up, yeah, it's 2-0, and it's such a good mentality boost when you have that advantage. Even if you drop a game, you're just one win away. We are about to load into the map, and Virtus is going to be on the right-hand side now, as U2 is going to be the blue team. They did swap from last game, and both teams are readying up now. I'm excited, man. This is going to be a fun game. I really like these compositions from these teams. But the aggression is going to be the name of the game coming out from, I guess, actually both sides, because Arthas doesn't really need a roam partner to be aggressive. Muradin and Tyrande, of course, they're aggressive as a duo.
Well, as we load into this one, ladies and gentlemen, we are just going to give thanks to our sponsors because not only are we being hosted here on Hitbox, but as well, Steel Series, you can get yourself a little bit of swag. If you tweet us your Hitbox username, use the hashtag Stormgrounds, and you can be entered into the draw for not only Heroes of the Storm mouse of the Sensei Raw, but as well one of the QCK mouse pads that look absolutely stunning, and it's a big thanks to them and to you for watching and entering and supporting Heroes of the Storm here on Hitbox.
Well, I am so hyped, man. We're loading into the game finally. We've got this double warrior meta clashing right now. It's going to be a hype game. G2, or not just me, G2. Bob down 1-0, man. They need to start this comeback now, or the momentum is going to be so in favor of Virtus.Pro. Virtus.Pro looking to close it out, though, as fast as they can, and we are loading in. Sean, what are your expectations of this early game?
Well, the early game, there's no mini game to be running from these sides. There's no, seasoned marksman. There's no stacks to be farming up. The only thing really is Leoric. If I have to guess, Bob might actually try throwing Leoric from lane to lane just to try getting those reanimation stacks up a little bit quicker. But past that, Virtus.Pro, I mean, Bob feels like that they're going to be the ones roaming. You know, Leoric, Tyrande, Mirrodin. All very capable early game roamers, especially because they can stack the CC, stack the damage output on them as well. Leave Kael'thas in the lane, leave Uther in the lane. But I don't think I'm going to see a similar level from Virtus.Pro. It definitely feels like a bit more of a roaming game, a bit more of a defensive early from Virtus.
Okay, well, we'll find out if that ends up happening, Sean. We are loading into the game now on the left-hand side of the map. It's going to be Bob down 0-1, Bakery, Snitch, ADRD, Athero Angel, and Zarmony. And on the other end of the map, it is going to be Virtus.Pro up 1-0. Unstable, Kebaj, Kunichan, BKB, and Andy Landy.
I love his name.
Andy Landy?
Yeah.
It's fun to say.
Yeah, it is fun to say. It warms the heart. Having that kind of alliteration to kind of play around. But either way, Bob on the left-hand side, kind of down 1-0 right now. The first game, it was very ebb and flow. It was very back and forth, but Virtus.Pro by the end of it just kind of got the better of the cooldown situation. We're able to make it happen. Do I see a healing totem at level 1 on Rehgar?
Yeah, that will be healing totem. We've seen it used a few times in EU in the past. I believe in this tournament we saw Tyrande take it the other day, using that too. And great positioning. It actually helped out a lot in most fights. We do have BKB being collapsed on pretty hard here. The slow from Zarmony comes out. He gets stunned by the Tyrande. No cleanse this early in the game, Sean. That is going to be a dead Arthas of first blood going over to Bob.
Yeah, a little bit too far forward. Didn't expect Zarmony from the top of those vents. Nice collapse there from Bob. This is going to put them up 1-0, but at this point of the game, it's a very negligible kind of experience lead. They are going to now split off and set up for their different lanes, but, will this be the Bob roam going back and forth?
It looks like it will be them soaking their lanes as well as they can. The ADRDs in that bottom lane. And we do see Kunichan getting super aggressive here, trying to go for a power play, and he is going to end up falling. Another death. End up going over to Bob, up 2-0 now on those kills, and they have to. You can't be this aggressive with this composition, and BKB does end up dodging that Lunar Flare. The combo wasn't there in time. Unstable actually getting really low in the bottom lane as well, getting bullied by Kael'thas. He's going to have to go tap well.
I'm going to have to give the play right there to BKB for that dodge. He saw it coming, and he immediately went the right way for it. Kunichan at the top didn't exactly do that yet, but Snitch so far, he's been pretty much aces on that Tyrande.
Keep an eye on how they want to keep applying this pressure. We're looking at the Mirrodin and Tyrande. They are roaming up right now, and Wraithlock was used by Zarmony to end up getting out of that tough position here. Level 3 to level 3 here. Experience is pretty even despite those 2 kills there. And I love the roaming here coming out from Virtus.Pro. They do end up getting stunned out here. Arthas taking a lot of damage. Deathcold trying to keep himself topped off, and he will end up living there. Great heals coming out from Rehgar, and that is going to be a full disengage coming up from Bob. Arthas does not fall.
Yeah, not yet, but still, they're keeping him on his toes. He's got to hit that sippy cup and get that mana back because he's just starting to be run pretty ragged going back and forth. Already a few of the gems now going to be dunked down as well, but still a little bit of a lead has been claimed here by Team Bob. They get those level 4 talents out first. And level 4 for Tyrande, I see an owl So that's Owl Pierce.
Yes, that will be Pierce going for a more damage-focused style. Stitch going to be trying to apply some pressure here. Everything else looking pretty normal now. It will be the siphoning arrow, punching arrow style build from Ball. Not going to be seeing the auto attack we saw from teams earlier in the tournament. I'm wanting to keep it more standard.
BKB, that's if I believe that's Destruction at level 4 for that Frostmourne Hunger. So that's going to be a little bit of extra burst to his name.
Yeah. He's going to be trying. They're just trying to go for kills here, trying to keep up for the lack of burst damage there. Now he does get poked down pretty low here. Gets hit by a flame strike. BKB getting really low. The living bomb comes out. Not going to be enough to secure that kill here. Oh man, Arthas just like constantly on the verge of death. He is dancing with those low numbers, man.
Yeah, but he hasn't gone down more than once as of yet. Still, the only takedowns on the board are actually 14 Bob, 2-0, and but Bob hasn't actually put in any gems yet.
No, they have not turned in any. They have 56 on them, enough for a complete turn-in here. They've just been focusing on that roam squad. They are up 3 kills to 0 now as well. Did end up falling, and they're trying to get the aggression out. We do see Zarmany trying to turn in 21-7 on the end of Bakery as Aethero and Snitch going to zone for his team. Kel'Thas has just been sitting in this bottom lane. ADRD is the most patient player in the world. He's just been farming this bottom and soaking as many, or getting as many gems as he can. We do see that the Gravity Lapse does go out to disengage from BKB and Kunichan, and he's going to be just fine.
Now he uses the empowered gravity lapse just to ensure that he will get away out of that. And oh, big stun locks on the Rhaegar, but it doesn't seem like it's going to really amount to too much. BKB, I mean, you say he's been dancing with those low numbers a lot, which is, you know, great. He hasn't gone down. He's been in that front line. He's been soaking that damage, but his future is going to be limited with this stun train. Yeah,
and that stun train does end up proving that he does end up falling there. Finally able to secure a kill on that indestructible Arthas here. A lot of gems turned in on the end of, oh, that Gravity Lapse so close to connecting for ADRD, but a lot of gems have been turned in, and we will see the turn-in potentially happen. No, ADRD not wanting to turn in his coins. He's just going to end up backing out.
Well, level 7 is back and forth, and all of a sudden, you know, 42 gems and counting. 14 Bob. Kunichan really wants to turn in Zoe. 28. He's such a big target right now.
Yep, 28. So many coins or gems there. 25 on the end of the ADRD. Both of them are stacked right now. Both teams wanting to desperately turn in, but they're doing a good job of trying to just zone people out. And we do see that Zarmany is going for that turn in here in the top. Will he be able to get that off? Nose and Zevo is going to deny that. Neither team able to get these turn-ins, man. Both playing very defensive, but here comes the Theater Angel going straight on to Vala. Does end up missing the Storm Belt, and that should be enough for him to get away. But here comes Snitch. He does connect with the Lunar Flare. The stuns go out, but a nice vault going to keep him alive. The Siphoning Arrow going to heal him up a bit, and that will be the stable living.
Man, that vault at the end of it just off to the wrong way. And just the Angel like, what? What? You can just see him like practicing in the mirror for that face. But yeah, unstable, man. You got a way out of that one. That's big props to him. But still, this should be enough map pressure to finally put down some of those gems.
Keeping an eye on these Blood Weavers. They will be spawning here for Bob. They've got about a full level lead right now, Sean, and they're going to be looking to push as they do secure a kill on Arthas here in the mid lane. And we'll have to see how much damage they can do this. Like these things can, these Web Weavers can get them 10 very quickly.
So the CZ train is absolutely real here from Bob. And, you know, 5 takedowns, nil so far, and with a level advantage going in. At the back of these Web Weavers, they're going to be looking for level 10. And if Virtus.Pro is all clumped up for one defensive spot, you might actually start seeing a big combo landing on top of them. And we're going to have, what, Pyroblast? Or, no, wow, that was silly to say. You're going to get the Phoenix, you're going to get the Starfall, and what, March of the Black King?
Yeah, it'll be March.
Big thing these days, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll be March of the Black King. And that is picked up here. Everything looking pretty centered on there, and about a full level to go still, about 3/4 of a level rather, Fort VP. This is going to be a fort in the top lane for a Bob, and that just pushes things even further in their advantage.
Yep, absolutely. So with those heroics, I mean, they take not only a fort, but they got some good map positioning here. Do they actually have enough gems for a second back-to-back turn-in? Well, would you believe that Bob actually does? A lot of gems to their name because they haven't dropped a single takedown yet. They've just been collecting and collecting. And I'm a little afraid for Virtus.Pro as they, you know, go into their own heroic tiers because the zoning control and the space control in some of these fights from Bob is absolutely unreal.
Kuni-chan had multiple chances there to interrupt a turn in there. He didn't go for it. I'm curious as to why. This is a back-to-back turn in here for these guys, Bob, and they're, I mean, they've already got top fort down, mid fort is exposed, and now bottom fort can be sieged in pretty easily too. Now level 10 has been taken by VP. They have Ghoul, Army of the Dead, Essential Healing, Blessed Shield, and Strafe Gargantuan, but we do see the collapses coming on the Kevichetti. The stun does end up going out, and that's a lot of damage going on the Kel'Thas. ADRD so far out of position. The heals are there. The Vine Shield the last second is going to keep him up, and now it's Arthas who's overextended. BKP going to be the first to fall in this fight, and the turnaround is happening. A beautiful stun coming out from Murden, the Dwarf Toss connecting, and it does end up killing out the Rhaegar. Now Kuni-chan is in full retreat here. He is getting very, very low, but he should be alive here. Zarmany actually going for the chase, does not end up connecting with that slow here, and that will be 2 for nothing, and the Web Reavers are pushing in all the lanes.
Yeah, as I said, you know, more Web Weavers. The back-to-back turn is absolutely real, and still not even taking a single takedown. Virtus.Pro very much on the back foot because they're going to be looking at a 3-level disadvantage with the death of these forts going in. And, you know, they had a great idea. Collapse on the Kel'Thas. He's right there. He's getting body blocked by his own teammates, for Pete's sake. But the vulnerability comes out, and by then they had committed way too much in that small little area. Big AoEs came out, and again, the control of the zoning of that space from Bob is absolutely unreal.
The level 13 acquired pretty standard talents across the board. We are seeing the Overflowing Light. I like that a lot from Toronto. Just the extra sustain is so very helpful. Sean, I love that they decided to choose that just because they're already hard enough to kill, right? They don't have the best burst. They have to catch them out of position, and anything that Toronto can do helps a lot.
We've been playing a lot of ARAMs and have been experimenting since. If you run into a Tyrande in ARAMs, she's probably your only healer. So I've been experimenting with her healing builds. Overflowing Light is just, you know, for its level, it's hands down one of the best. Like, if you don't need that sprint, it's going to boost your healing capacity a lot.
Well, let's see here. They are pushing out level 14 almost here for Bob. 3-level lead, Sean. This is just such a huge advantage, and they're looking to keep this going here. They have a 3-level lead, and they don't even have Kel'Thas 16 yet. That's so huge. But, oh, Murder taking a lot of damage. Does Dwarf Toss out of there. Phoenix is used. Eddie Lenny taking some light damage here. He's at half HP now and getting poked even lower. The Giants are pushing in, and then we do sneak in a tournament here on the end of Virtus.Pro. The Web Reavers are spawning, and they're going to have to back out. But, excuse me, Bob almost has enough for another tournament on their own. They're 5 away from that after this spawns, but also Virtus.Pro, though, they have enough for another tournament on their end as well. So we'll have to see if Virtus.Pro can use this one Web Reaver spawn to swing momentum back into their favor.
Well, it's going to be tough because Virtus.Pro has 2 sets of lanes actually pushed, you know, really far in, and now you can see already, you know, the Pain Train bottom is starting to roll, but the top is already getting countered by Bob. Mid has some aggression now going up onto it as well. If there's anything that Virtus.Pro is going to get out of this, it has to be that bottom lane because that's the only lane that they have any momentum with these Web Weavers.
They're trying to, yeah, they actually didn't get, what they did was just cleared their the lanes, you're right, like, they just kind of pushed everything back from being in their face, and, you know, they did get 13, this is a talent tier, they're on the same tier now for about a level here, as Bob's just about to hit 16, they need to make something happen, and it will be that giant killer at 13 for Vala to help do some extra damage to this double warrior front line. Now we see sprint on the Zebo to just kind of kite better if he does get collapsed on, but we do see that Zarmany is getting collapsed on by Kuni-chan, and the rest of VP is here. This could be a free death. Wraithwalk is used, but BKB is already in position to get that root down. The cleanse does happen. A beautiful save there from Bakery and Snitch, keeping Zarmany alive. If that would have happened, that would have been what VP needed to get the game going in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. Zarmany just way too far forward. Really showing off the strength of Leoric right there. I mean, the unstoppable, the Wraithwalk, he had the Drain Hope, and then the incoming with the heals. It really did keep him going, and remember, he has reanimation stacks there as well, so his hit points per second are not exactly anything to sneeze at this point. But this, you know, I always have issues turning in on the Web Weavers when you're so far behind like that, because as you see, I mean, Virtus.Pro, what did they get out of it? They cleared their lanes, they got 13, great, but now they're about to lose that advantage.
Level 16, man, so close. Kael'thas, such a monster. I am so hyped to see this play come out. All the lanes are super pushed forward too by Bob, so these web reavers are basically spawning right in front of the keeps. Basically every lane except for the bottom lane. It's got a little bit of ways to go, and we have a full split up here from Bob as they are trying to collapse in the top lane. The flame trick does not connect. They do have that ignite now, so the damage potential is here from Kael'thas.
Man, Andy Lendy just took a 790 owl to the face, and he even had to throw a sprint out after that as well, just to keep himself going. Zarmany splitting into one lane, and the rest of Bob into the top. Don't think it's quite going to be keeps, but the pressure is really starting to mount on top of Virtus.Pro.
Oh, big collapse coming on here. Tunisian does go in with the Condemn, hitting 3 people. Ethereal in the backline taking some life damage, but the damage take coming out, and a big stun goes out on the volley. Accessibility, they're not there in time. That's a lot of gems going down. Will they be able to turn this around? Here comes Zarmany from behind as well. He's following the fight. This is going to be the death of Arthas, it looks like, as he does end up trying to get the kill on Switch, but doesn't end up doing that. Now that his 2 members dead, the Spider is still pushing the bottom keep. It is at half HP. The top keep is going to fall here to Bob's. That 3-level advantage still holding strong. Wow, this is a huge, strong push coming out from Bob, and I think they should secure double keep. The bottom keep is at half HP. Looks like that will be cleaned up by the web reavers. I don't know if Bob's going to rotate down and kill that. Looks like they're just going to go do boss.
Well, it's low-hanging fruit regardless, and if that web weaver's about to drop, yeah, they're in the perfect position to go pick up that boss. So quarter hit points, a little bit less. There's no mule in sight, so you know the damage is the damage. And now 1 keep down, the second being threatened, and they still have no Arthurs for another few seconds. Virtus.Pro, not sure that they can actually make a case to contest this throw pit.
They're going in, Sean. ADR is getting really low in the back line. There comes the stun from the Looter Flare. Does end up securing a kill, but Toronto going to fall as well. Joanna is dead, and that's going to be Kevicek falling to the boss. A big flame strike goes out, but doesn't connect with anyone. Bakery going to die, as well as Uther in the back line, and now it is just that double warrior front line alive, but they have the Uther here with them. Andy Lendy getting caught out of position as well. Theory Angel going straight onto him. He is last hit. It takes 1 Stormbolt. That is going to be a full wipe. A 3-for-2 exchange. Bob only having their warriors left, but they have a boss here on this top lane. I don't know why they're pushing this top lane with this boss. I don't think they can't kill a core with a boss and 2 members. They have people up in 10 seconds, but they're going to go for it. Zarmany and Ethereal Angel going straight on the core with this boss. I don't think they can get this, Sean.
Well, it'll be definitely a note in their favor if they can. Double warrior and the boss up against what? Yeah, the trickling in team. It's only 15 minutes in, guys. Remember, those death timers are not exactly the end all. Zarmany, I think, is actually going to go for that bottom keep instead. But hey, damage is mountain, man. Yeah,
the boss is still alive. I realized that I forgot that all the champions the boss can just do by itself, and there's no one here to kill it. The core does end up falling, Sean. Bob gonna tie up the series 1-1.
Eating a little bit of crow there, Zoya.
Yeah, man, I was not expecting them to be able to do that, but that
15-minute
boss town on that core.
Yeah, 15-minute boss, nothing to get in his way, 2 warriors to add to it as well. Remember, Burning Rage ticking down on top of that. They got damage this way and the other, and the trickle in defense. I mean, there was nothing really to stop that core from kind of dropping. So Bob, game number 1. Very close, but by the end of it, they blundered a team fight and they lost. This round, they came out swinging. And big things, again, back at the draft. This is the first time we've seen a Kael'thas game with Bob. This is the first time they have not banded out. And they also, for the first time, did not have Tyrande banned against them. I wonder if that was kind of the big magic moment for them right there.
Well, Sean, before we go to this quick break, let's just give another shout out to our sponsors, Hitbox and Steel Series. Steel Series is giving away some of their gear, some swag for you guys. All you have to do is tweet out your Hitbox username and use the hashtag Stormgrounds, and you will be entered in a drawing to either win one of our 2 Steel Series Sensei's Raws we're giving away today, or the Steel Series QCK that has a Heroes of the Storm mouse and mouse pad. Guys, make sure you send out those tweets, because today's the last day. We got potentially 3 more games at the most, guys, so make sure you get those tweets out so you're entered in this drawing. But guys, we're going to quick commercial break before we go to game number 3. Oh, I guess we're not going to a break because the draft already started, Sean. We're going in there.
There's no rest for the wicked, my friend. No rest for the wicked.